and also AIB, which is Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, and powers of central government. जो पहले ऐसा होता था कि पावर्स कहीं और लिखे हुए हैं और इसके जो फंक्शंस है कहीं और लिखे हुए हैं, रूल्स कहीं और लिखे हुए हैं. तो आईकेओ का भी ऑब्जर्वेशन था कि सब एक प्रिंसिपल एक्ट में होना चाहिए जो एक हार्मनी क्रिएट करता है सिविल एविएशन का. तो वो हार्मनी हम लेके आए हैं सर अभी ये सिविल एविएशन में इस बिल के तहत. एंड अदर देन दिस वी हैव ट्राइड टू रिड्यूस द रिडंडेंसीज, और जो गैप्स होते थे पहले इसके एक्ट में उसको भी हम करने की कोशिश ये भारतीय वायुयान विधेयक के साथ हम लेके आए. इसके बाद दूसरी चीज़ जो डेफिनेशंस हमने ऐड किया, we have brought in definitions for design, maintenance and manufacture into the bill. जो previous bill था Indian Aircraft Act, तो उसमें we didn't have design at all, we didn't have the word maintenance at all, and there was just manufacture as a word, but it was not defined. But today, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji, we see a strong sense of Atmanirbharta being formed in this country, sir. And civil aviation taking an inspiration from that Atmanirbharta, we are imagining, we are trying to achieve a position for India in the future where not only we are operating planes in this country, we are designing planes, we are manufacturing planes, and we want to export planes to the whole world also, and that is the situation we want to create, and that is going to happen, exactly that is going to happen because of this Bharat Vayan Videyak that is going to come, sir. And especially the word design we have added. The design, adding of the word design is going to create an area where lot of industry players are going to come, which is going to improve the design area of the manufacturing, sir. Already HAL is manufacturing Hindustan 228, which is a 19-seater plane. Dhruv is there from HAL, which is a 14-seater helicopter. And also NAL is also making another plane. Now, if you add this, if you bring in these changes in the legislation, then the state of design, ICAO will recognize India as a state of design, which will improve our prospects globally also, sir. To bring in talent which will attract in creating design here, and also whatever we design or manufacture, that is also going to be accepted worldwide also. So it was very important for us at this stage, the changes that is happening throughout the country, it was very important for us to define design, maintenance and manufacture, which is the major driver in the civil aviation sector today, sir. And that is what we have brought in to the bill also today. And the other one, before bringing this bill here, lot of wide consultations have happened, both internally and externally also. From the public, we have received the feedback. From internally, DGCA, BCAS, AI, ERA, AIB, and also externally, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs, Finance Ministry, DPIIT, Department of Telecom. All these were widely consulted and all their feedback was taken in before we have brought in this Bharatiya Vayan Videyak into the August House, sir. And another important feature that this bill is addressing, this is a feedback that we have received from the pilots, especially the pilots who are getting trained and trying to obtain their CPL license, commercial pilot license. Sir, before they obtain this commercial pilot license, there is one certificate that is required, which is the radio telephony certificate. This RTR, radio telephony restricted certificate, which was supposed to be given on the basis of the previous act, this was supposed to be given by Department of Telecom. Now, once they, before obtaining the CPL, they had to go to Department of Telecom and get this license. Once they get the license from Department of Telecom, they come back to DGCA, which is under the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and they get flight radio telephony operator license. Once they get the flight telephony operator's license, then they again get the commercial pilot license, which is the CPL. Now, this process of going to two departments just for that certificate for radio telephony, there was a lot of feedback from the pilots and especially that industry, the training industry, that this is creating a lot of problem for them. Now, going through two departments, the chair would also know how difficult the system gets over the years when there are different kinds of people. And especially DGCA has the expertise for the radio telephony in aviation, which is why it has the capacity to give flight radio telephony operator's license. So the feedback from the industry has been that why don't you shift this from the Department of Telecom and put it within the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and this with this bill we have addressed that feedback, sir, and we have shown that this is a government which listens to the public, which does what the public needs, and that is the change that we have brought in this bill also. And also, another important change that we have brought with this, sir, is regarding the appeals section. I thought a lot of people would talk about this, but not a lot of people have thrown some light on this. But there have been a lot of inconsistencies in the earlier act which was related to the appeal, sir. And there was provision for appeal against only financial penalties. Administrative penalties, there was nothing written in the earlier act which was addressing the appeals on administrative penalties. Only financial penalties, there was an appeal, and there was only one appeal that was allowed. But now we thought, when we are trying to change this bill, change the act and bring in a new bill, we have decided that we are going to implement the principles of natural justice, and whenever how the industry treats the appeals, how other departments are treating the appeals, we are going to bring that structure into this, and that is what we have done here also, sir. So any time any action is taken, the first show cause notice, the person against whom the action is being taken, he will be properly heard, and he'll be given a chance to go for 2 appeals, and there will be a proper tribunal also after the appeals, so that he can get the principles of, he can avail his principle of natural justice, and that we have accommodated here. And just like I said earlier, there was only for financial penalty the appeal was there. Now we have added administrative enforcement also, so that there is opportunity for appeal there also, sir. And also earlier, the Principal Act, the Indian Aircraft Act, only carried certain provisions regarding the action of suspension of licenses, certificate or approvals. The other sections which come under restrictions, they were addressed through some other rules. Now we have brought everything into the Principal Act, so that there is a legislative backing. There is a clear flow of instructions on how the licenses or certificates, let it be private members or let it be questionnaire, and through the bill also many members have raised this. And in fact, I have already mentioned this after taking charge as the minister also, sir, that one of my top priorities would be to make the airfares affordable and accessible to the common man of this country. Because
there should be some mechanism for flexi.
I'll get into it. Because our whole intention of the NDA government is that till now, till 2014, sir, this civil aviation was always like it was for certain sections of the civilized society. It was like civilized aviation. But once Honorable Prime Minister took charge, once Narendra Modi ji has taken charge, civil aviation was considered as civilian aviation, sir, and that is what our commitment is even today also. And to make it civilian aviation, this is a very important point which the ministry is also taking very seriously. But I would also like to tell the House that we have to understand the dynamics around the airfares also. It is not just the airlines saying that, "Acha, tomorrow I'll just put this air price at so-and-so price." There is a certain mechanism. There are lot of other factors which are included in the airfares, like the ATF, sir, the fuel cost, the airport security fee, user development fee, landing charges, and lot of these factors, and taking into account the market demand also, and especially when some vacations are there or some special events are happening. So there are a lot of dynamic factors which get included in deciding the fare of this thing. And also yesterday when a lot of people were speaking, they were also mentioning that how certain carriers have gone out of system also. Some important airlines like Jet Airways and other Deccan Airways and some important airways which were very optimistic in the area of civil aviation, they've all exited the aviation market, sir. So we have to create a balance. Now if you see, we create so much pressure on the airlines that they totally are not in a situation to run, then we don't have any planes to run only. So we have to create a balance, and that is the balanced approach that the ministry is also looking at. Where there is a balanced approach, the airlines also shouldn't misuse or take advantage of the position of the passenger. And also at the same time, we are creating a level playing field so that the airlines also operate at a certain stage in the country. But on the directions of Speaker sir also, last time when there was a discussion on this, he said why don't you meet the airlines? And we are doing it from the ministry, sir. We are having meetings with the airlines industry, and we are trying to ensure that there is no misuse or there is no disadvantage for the passenger here. And especially I would like to mention in the House also, because a lot of people have raised this issue across the benches, sir, and even Speaker, sir, has also taken cognizance of this. So we are thinking, sir, of setting up an online mechanism to take in grievances from not just the MPs, from also the public. And we'll put up a team in the ministry which is going to specifically look about these issues where they feel undue advantage has been taken or unnecessarily some unreasonable hike has happened in airfares. Whenever there is an issue like this, we're going to create an online system which will take care of the grievances. You can put in your grievances, and with timely response, we are going to address this one, and we are going to make sure that there is no undue advantage that has been taken by the passenger. And this much I want to tell the honorable members of this House, sir. And other than this, one important scheme that has been brought in by Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to mention it to the House again, sir, which is the RCS scheme. RCS Udan scheme was a total game changer for the civil aviation market in the country. And we should all be proud by the great vision Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji had to create this scheme back in 2016 itself, sir. And I take great pride in talking about this RCS Udan scheme, which is Regional Connectivity Scheme, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. And some of the success stories this has created. Now I could see the positivity of most of the people, members who have spoken yesterday also. They have been proudly talking about the airports in their districts, airports in their constituency, how they have increased, how they want more connectivity happening, how they want the terminal capacity to increase. And I would like to take certain examples. One example is Darbhanga Airport, sir. Darbhanga city is a very historical city. When this was from the Maithili time, it was a very historic and important city. And it had one airstrip there, sir, which was running during 1950 and 1962. After 1962, there was no plane there. It was totally taken away from the civil aviation map of this country. And when RCS came into play, when Udan came into play, this was in 2020, after the airport was upgraded with spending 120 crores to the Udan scheme, the first flight from Darbhanga took off on 9th November 2020. And since then, sir, this was in 2020, the first flight took off. And in the year 2022-23, this was after the COVID also, the airport handled 6 lakh passengers in the whole year, sir. And that was the kind of change the RCS has brought in for this Darbhanga. And Jharsuguda Airport, there was no airport in Western Odisha. And there was a huge interest for all the people from Western Odisha that we should have an airport. Before 2014, before this RCS scheme, there was nothing which was addressing this issue. But once RCS was brought into place, even this Jharsuguda airport, we have spent up to 202 crores, where we have created a new airport. And once that airport was brought in, 2019 first flight took off, and now that terminal is handling 2 lakh passengers per year, sir, which is a great achievement for Jharsuguda airport. Then we have Pithodgarh airport, Kalburgi airport, Kishangarh airport. Examples are numerous, sir, and these come from all the cities, all the states, all the union territories of this country. So this was the grand vision that Narendra Modi ji had, where we are going to take up those remote areas where there is a lot of demand for people to travel through airplanes. So that was when this RCS was promulgated and it was brought into effect. And we are running at the tune of more than 500 routes have started under RCS, sir. And more than 1.4 crore people of this country have traveled through this RCS routes. And that is something which we all should be proud of, sir. And other than that, we are going to, because of the success of this scheme, we are going to improve the scheme, sir. In the coming days, with the help of the central government, we are going to bring in RCS again, because it was a 10-year plan. And now we are seeing that there are some issues when the RCS is specifically for 3 years. Because the way that scheme was done is that for 3 years, we are going to help a certain airport or a certain route to take off. But it was not for a continuous time that the government is going to provide the support. We wanted to create the impetus. We wanted to create the push and the spark. So for 3 years we were supporting. But now a specific situation has arrived where after 3 years the airlines sometimes are backing away from that route. That also has been expressed by a lot of people. So we are going to address that issue. We have a process where after 1 year, we can bid that route and we can restart that route through RCS. And we need to extend the scheme of RCS because it has been a huge success and it has given a huge push to the civil aviation also. So definitely we are going to look into the expanding of RCS also, sir.